Hey guys, this is Shannon and I am back to do a meal prep video for low carb keto. I'm calling it low carb because there are some things on it that some people don't eat when they're on keto, but it's pretty much a keto meal prep. I have been off this for months now. With the holidays and everything, it was just impossible for me. I do most of the family cooking, all of the holiday cooking for all the holiday parties. So I have zero willpower. I admit it, I have none, and I can't make things like baklava and, all kinds of breads and pastries and cookies and everything and not touch them. So I just gave up for the last few months, just way too much going on. But Chris and I are committed to getting back on this again. And I have been doing it this last week and had meal prepped, and we got through the 12 days of Christmas, and now we are officially really back on keto again. So I am meal prepping for the week. I pulled some items out of the freezer that are right back here, and I'll show you what we have and what we have planned. Okay, so I have a few things pulled out of the freezer. And what I had done is kind of just looked through the things that are in my freezer, and excuse my nails and my hands are all beat up. I was working in the garden all day yesterday and digging, and promise my hands are clean, but they just may not look it. I'll show you why. This is one of the monstrosities that I dug out of my garden yesterday. Giant sweet potato, along with gallons and gallons and gallons of other sweet potatoes. And we have chickens, so working on chicken coops and all that. So dirty fingernails, even though I promised they are super scrubbed. Okay, getting back to the meal prep, I just went out, looked in our different freezers, and just thought, okay, what can I make that we really like? And just proceeded to make a list of things that we like that I have in the freezer that I can make right now, that I have the ingredients to make. So I just went and did this, and then I went from this list and thought, okay, what do we really want? It's like in the 50s here in Florida, so a couple of warmer dishes would be great. I also have some stuff already frozen in the freezer that if I wanted to, I could pull out for a quick meal, like keto lasagna or a meatloaf, something like that. We have ribeyes that can just get tossed on the grill real quick, sausages that could get tossed on the grill, individuals. But I realized where I was struggling was, if you look at my previous meal prep videos, yes, things were very low carb, but I was looking at one meat and then trying to put a bunch of sides with it to kind of fill it out the way you do a normal meal plan. Like you have one main thing, and then you have a bread, and then you have a couple of vegetables or sides or a carb or a starch. And that just doesn't work with keto. And I was watching Laura Spath's video, and she was talking about using meat as sides, like making a steak but putting shrimp on the side. Or if you do meatballs, you can have chicken wings and bacon. So that's kind of what we're doing. We won't be having just one thing, because this last week, Chris and I have been doing multiple meat nights, and it has worked amazingly well for not getting bored. So yes, there's a lot of stuff out here. Some of it may get prepped and put in the freezer for later. A lot of it's going to be used this week though. Chris and I do 2 meals a day. We don't do breakfast. We usually do a late lunch sometime after 1, and then we'll have dinner. Okay, I had to rewrite my list. If you were looking at the previous video when I was referencing my items, I realized, you know what I have doesn't match, because I saw a couple of things in the freezer when I was pulling items out and went, oh, I need to pull that out and cook it, because it did not get vacuum sealed. Like this roast right here. This is just a boneless shoulder roast, and it needs to get cooked. This chicken is not vacuum sealed, so I'm trying to pull open stuff out of the freezer to use first. So going back, here is my list now. We are doing keto lasagna, and I saw that one on Keto Focus. The keto Tuscan soup I just found on Pinterest. Lemon chicken I found on Pinterest. Boneless ribs with orange ginger marinade is something I'm just gonna do. Pork chunks with a gorgonzola dipping sauce is just something I'm going to do. The cheeseburger meatballs I saw on Laura Spath's channel. Mississippi pot roast. Everybody makes Mississippi pot roast. And then I've got some thin steaks over here that I am just going to cook up. Probably cook them in the cast iron skillet real thin with like eggs or something along those lines. They just need to get used. And then I'm probably going to do a green bean casserole, and I may pull some other things, but I don't have to do all of my cooking today. I just want to get a bunch of stuff lined up so that when I work late and I come in, it's just ready to go. And I can go, oh, okay, we're having this tonight. And I just have to pop it in the oven or put it in the air fryer, or I could put it in the crock pot at lunchtime. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on this, and we'll see what we end up with. All right, I am starting with my soup, and this is probably what we're going to have for dinner with something else on the side because it'll be hot and fresh, and it's already after 5 o'clock. So an onion, a large onion, garlic, dried oregano, sun-dried tomatoes, salt and pepper, chicken broth, kale, 3/4 cup cream, and then a 1/4 cup of parm to go on top whenever you're serving it. So I'm really bad about following exact. I kind of just season to taste as to what I like. So I am going to go ahead and just get this going in the pot. Like I said, I'm not following the recipe exactly. It calls for just hot Italian sausage. I am going to take the casings off, saute it up, and I'll probably add a little bit of one of these with it. And then I may even chunk up this sausage and add it in, like I said, just to give it texture, because usually when you have a sausage soup, you have potatoes and you are biting into big chunks of, you know, delicious potato. But since we are not doing that, I am going to substitute the chunks of potato with chunks of sausage. Okay guys, I have 3 kinds of sausage going in here right now. I have that hot Italian, some of the ground sausage, and some of the sliced sausage, along with the onion, all of the seasoning, and all of that is cooking down really well. So seasonings, onions, smells great. I'm getting ready to add garlic. I think the recipe called for chicken broth, but this is just some turkey stock that I had made, and it calls for 6 cups. So I'm just going to use my homemade turkey stock. I know exactly what's in it. So I'm going to throw my garlic, my turkey stock in here, and let's see, what else do I need? Oh, I'm going to chop up my kale and toss it in. This was originally an Instant Pot recipe. I'm not doing it that way. I'm doing it like this. So once I have everything, I'm just going to put the lid on, turn it down to low, and just let it cook so that everything softens up really well. I almost forgot the sun-dried tomatoes. I don't know, I had maybe less than half a jar. So I poured the grease in, the oil that they have it in. I just put that in there. The oil of this is really good to like cook chicken and stuff in. Absolutely delicious. I've done recipes like that, but I'm going to chop these up and add them also. Okay guys, this is pretty much done. I am just going to let it cook down. It's a little soupier than what I like. I think I personally would put less broth, but I had not made this one before. So I can always thicken it up if I need to. I can use a low carb thickener and thicken it up just a little bit, but I'm just going to let it sit here and cook down instead of covering it up, and just let some of that moisture cook off. And what I'm working on next is the Mississippi roast. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a liner in here and stretch it over, and I'm going to put everything in so that the liner's ready to go. Yes, this is a quick, fast meal to put together, but I have found when I have open containers of meat or containers that are just in the styrofoam wrapping, then I have to wrap it up in paper towel and hope it doesn't leak, or put it in another container. If I have it like this, it'll literally be ready to go. I just lift the liner out, put it in my crock pot, and hit start. Boom, it's ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and get this ready now. Okay guys, my roast is ready to go. I might use one of my really small crock pots, so I cut that in half. I'm gonna see if it'll fit in the small one when the time comes, but if not, I'll put it in one of my bigger ones. And yes, I do use the seasoning packets. There's like 1 carb in the Italian, I think, and 3 in the brown gravy, or the opposite. But you're literally not eating all of that. I mean, you might actually get just the smallest amount of this. It's seasoning, it's going in the broth. If you were gonna eat all the broth, yes, I guess you'd get a few carbs, but honestly, it's just the seasoning of it. It just really gets in there and gives good flavor. So I have no issues with using packets like this. So I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna rubber band it, put a lid on it, and it'll go in the refrigerator until I'm ready to toss it in the crock pot. Okay guys, I have 2 more meals right here ready to go. These were those pork boneless short ribs. I just cut the package in half. I cubed them up. This one is going to be like a Parmesan coating that's on them. This is the ingredients. There's Parmesan cheese, Italian seasoning, some adobo, some nutritional yeast, the roasted garlic, and Italian herb panko crumbs. That is what's in here. And then that's the meat. And this will all just get packaged together. I'll end up doing an egg in here for an egg wash, and I'll toss the meat in there, dip it into the crumbs, and then I'll put it on a pan and put it in the toaster oven. So that is another meal. Yes, I could do this right before, but it's just the dragging everything out and putting everything up. It just makes it so much easier when you're in a hurry. And the second one, again, is gonna be a crock pot meal. I have my liner here. There's chopped up pork. I'm using this sugar-free orange ginger marinade, and then it's got just a little bit of a tang to it. So I added a little bit of Splenda brown sugar, added in just a little sprinkle on top with some onions and peppers, and this will go in the crock pot. Okay, here's the next recipe I did. These are chicken thighs, boneless chicken thighs that I cut up into chunks. The original recipe has them bone in, skin on, but this is just what I had in the freezer. I will link the original recipe with all the amounts because I did not do as large an amount of chicken, so my ingredient list is different than what theirs is. But I have olive oil, garlic, salt, oregano, white pepper, organic Dijon mustard, and thyme, along with lemon juice that I just squeezed half a lemon. Mixed it all together. It's going to marinate, and then I just chopped up the lemon that was left and add it to the top, and it'll bake at 350 until the chicken is cooked through. Okay guys, Chris is working on some ribs. He absolutely loves a smoker and is so great at it. And he made, I think, 4 racks this time? Yep. 4 racks of ribs. And he seasoned them different ways. So he's getting them all ready for the freezer, getting them vacuum sealed. So they will make quick meals whenever we want something in a hurry. And do you want to explain what all this stuff is, babe?
They started out as full slabs. And so I just cooked them the way they were on the smoker and then cut off the trimmings and cleaned it up so I can just have nice ribs to put away. And the trimmings, I'll separate the fat and the bone and everything and end up with, if you want to look in, I don't know if you can see there, but it's all cut up. So this will be like I'll just heat that up and stir in some barbecue sauce, and it'll be like a barbecued pork rib meat.
And these are what the bags look like when they're all vacuum sealed. So perfect for a meal or a side. Previously in the video, I mentioned something about having meat as your side. So these are a great side to something else. You could do some ribs and eggs and shrimp, or, you know, some sort of a buffalo chicken with ribs, anything on the side like that. Quick, easy meals. And he either will drop them in boiling water and warm them up. Sometimes we microwave them. You can just warm them up so many different ways. And then this is so good with some of the sugar-free barbecue sauce just to eat out in a bowl, or you can top it with some sour cream and use some pork rinds or have it in a tortilla wrap. So that is what he is working on. Okay guys, I have the ground beef and the ground sausage all split up. So this back here is what's going to be my meatballs. If you go on Laura Spath's channel, she has that meatball recipe. It is awesome. We've eaten them at least twice now. Absolutely love them. So good. So those are going to get made into meatballs, put in the freezer, and then bagged up and vacuum sealed. This is going to be the keto lasagna. So that's my ground beef mixture, and there is my cheese mixture. Okay guys, I'll just show you where we're at. It's about 8:45 right now in the evening, and I need to get this stuff in the fridge so it doesn't sit out and get too warm. So what we end up having here, I didn't do anything with this meat. We're probably just going to cook it, cast iron skillet, hot and fast, have it with eggs or something one day for lunch. There is the lemon chicken. Let's see, these are the pork bites that I'm going to make the gorgonzola cheese sauce to go with. This one is the, oh gosh, Hold on. Okay, this is the beef roast, the Mississippi beef roast, and this is the orange marinated chicken. I ended up with 3 different types of the keto lasagna. There was just enough chicken in that one container to do this one, and then these 2 were some other deli meat that I had in the fridge. So I may end up freezing one of those, or we might have it like literally as a side dish. You see how small it is? We'll cook it. It will literally be a side dish with one of the meals for dinner. This is a pound of bacon cooked, and I think about 12, 16 sausage patties. We will have those at lunch. There is my soup. I gave a quart of it away already. My daughter and a friend of hers had come by, so I gave a portion of that away. And then there are around 60-ish meatballs here. The whole bottom rack is full. These are getting ready to go in the freezer until they're frozen through, and then I'll separate them and bag them so that I can just pull some out of the freezer as needed. Chris took those ends in pieces and mixed a bunch of barbecue sauce with it, and this is what we're having for dinner tonight. He was eating his on a tortilla with some shredded cheese and sour cream, and he forgot his Diet Pepsi sitting here. Whatever I don't eat, I haven't eaten yet. I'm gonna have a little bit of this and maybe with some pork rinds and sour cream. Whatever's left is gonna get vacuum sealed and put in the freezer for later. And then what I have going here, this is just the same pot that I had the chicken in. I just kind of rinsed it out, or the soup in, and threw in some chicken thighs that were frozen because I decided I wanted to make some chicken salad and some buffalo chicken. Those are great little sides, quick things. And then I have, I don't know, a dozen eggs or so in here boiling. I'll get those boiled and done while I clean up the rest of the kitchen. And I think that's probably going to be about where I stop tonight. I might make some mousse to have in the fridge for dessert later this week, and we'll see if I get to that. But for now, I'm going to just do a quick cleanup and get all this stuff put away. So I was trying to figure out why I had more meatballs than what I thought I should. I thought I should have right under 50 meatballs, 40 something meatballs when I had done the math, and I've made them before. And I had all these extra meatballs, you know, at least 12 or 15 more meatballs than I needed. And I realized I did not make my green bean casserole. I had the last of the ground beef in the fridge, in the microwave defrosting, and Chris is like, oh, what is this in here? And I just took it and just tossed it in with my meatball mixture. And I was like, oh, I must have been defrosting that. Completely forgot. So if I desire to have that later in the week, I'll make it. Okay guys, while the chicken and the eggs were cooking and I was doing kitchen cleanup, I decided to go ahead and make us some desserts. Some people may not agree with these because they're not clean, but it's better than going to Dairy Queen. So I have 3 different kinds of Jell-O here. I have orange, black cherry, and lime, sugar-free. And then I made a chocolate mousse. I use the sugar-free chocolate pudding. I don't use regular milk. I use heavy whipping cream and water. And then when you whip the heavy whipping cream with your immersion blender, it really thickens it up. So when this sits in the fridge, it'll be like a really nice thick mousse. And then you can top it with a little bit of the Cool Whip. Same thing with the Jell-O. Chris and I will have that as dessert with a little bit of Cool Whip on top. And if you want to get really fancy with these, you can put some crushed nuts, some strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, some shredded coconut, some Lily's chocolate chips along with it, and just jazz it up a little bit and you won't miss dessert. Okay guys, I am wrapping it up in the kitchen. The leftover meat I have vacuum sealed, and I'm gonna toss that out in the freezer with everything else. There's a dozen eggs that are boiled. They're gonna go in the fridge and cool off. I'll do something with them, even if we just eat boiled eggs with dinner, or I make egg salad, or English pea salad, deviled eggs, whatever. We'll definitely go through boiled eggs. And then I have 1 container of chicken salad. There's just mayo, Greek yogurt, celery, seasoning, and chicken. Oh, and pecans, some crushed pecans. And then this is buffalo chicken, cream cheese, cheddar cheese, chicken, and hot sauce. So that is that. Along with sides, I could do some zucchini tots. I have that in the fridge. I can make up some zucchini tots. These are the tomatoes I picked out of the garden yesterday. And I may make a cucumber, tomato, basil, feta salad as a side. That's not something that Chris loves. It's something I love. So it would probably just go with like my lunch or something like that. So there's lots of other things. There's hot dogs and sausages. If Chris just wants a quick meal along with mozzarella cheese sticks, that kind of thing. I'll probably grill up some acorn squash and make that later this week, but this is it that I'm gonna do on food prep. There are 8 actual like meals, and then multiple things like, you know, these like the chicken salads, the pulled pork, the ribs, all kinds of side items. So my next video will be what we ate in a week, and I will show you how the meals turned out and what we paired them with. All right, guys, hope you are having a great day.